Got an update video coming to you. Why is the Jeep on the trailer this morning? It's 7:30 in the morning on a Saturday.
Well, cheers. Cheers to you guys.
Hi, ladies and gentlemen. Before I show you what we ended up doing, whether we traded or whether we didn't trade, I want to just say that with the Jeep, I.B.F.HotRods, we build hot rods, but we also have our own personal goals, and that's what that Jeep project was basically. My plan personally, on the side note, is to basically, we were going to buy something and we were going to fix it and do it right, and then we were going to move on to something else. And whether that was a trade or selling it outright, we were planning on continuing to roll that over, and we're either going to put it back into the business, because let's face it, I got bills that need to be paid. These parts, these tools, the shit that we do every day and work with cost money, and it's not cheap. So we were going to roll over and basically inevitably get to the point where we're building a couple of customer vehicles, and then we're building our own vehicle at the same time. And that way we have nobody telling us how to build something. I'm not saying that customers tell us how to build shit wrong or anything of the sort like that. It's just we won't have the control aspect that we need to. We have parameters and certain parts or certain materials that they want to use or they've already purchased. We want to go on the side of we get to build this thing the way we want. And with the Jeep kind of, when I started looking for stuff, the Jeep fell in our lap, and that's how that one came about. I knew it was going to be kind of difficult as far as like if I had a Camaro or if I had a Mustang or if I had a C10 pickup truck or some sort of thing of that nature. I knew the Jeep was going to be kind of difficult. So I knew if we were going to sell it or we were going to trade it, it was going to be to somebody that specifically wanted the Jeep. Because if you think about it, if we're trying to go for a Mustang or a Camaro or whatever, how in the hell can I persuade somebody that's into horsepower to go with the Jeep? It's got to be sentimental, or they got to be specifically looking for that Jeep. So that was the idea, and we are going to move on and show you guys what the hell we ended up trading for. So we're going to cut to that now. We made it back successfully, and guess what? That ain't no Jeep. So let me get this down off of here, and we can take a gander at it. Yeah, we clearly we traded a Jeep for a crazy ass side-by-side. So let me get it off of here, and we'll go to town on this and let you see what the hell we got, buddy. Yeah. All right, here it is. You saw it back down off the trailer. You might be wondering, this is not a classic car, and this is not a fucking hot rod. But let me tell you one thing. The family that reached out to me and was like, "Hey, are you interested in a trade?" When this showed up, I really wasn't interested at all. The thing about I.B.F.HotRods is we started this I.B.F.HotRods for a reason, to help people out and to build people's dreams and stuff. Well, it just so happens that this gentleman reached out to us and was like, "Hey, I have this," and this is a Polaris. They call it a Razor. It's an RZR XP 1000, 4-wheel drive. Fucking rocket ship, basically. This thing is, I I've never driven a side-by-side. The wife has never rode in a side-by-side or driven a side-by-side. So, I mean, I really didn't know what I was getting myself into. But when I started looking at it, and we started doing the figures on it, it was like, you know what? If this is everything that we think it is, this might possibly be a good trade. And the only reason we looked into it, like I was saying, this gentleman reached out to us, and he told me that his wife actually, her grandfather came back from the war and had a truck, a Jeep, and he was actually able to bring this back. It was the Jeep that he drove over in the war, and he brought it home with him, and it was in the family. Well, you know how shit goes. Sometimes family and heirlooms don't stay together. So that was sold. So literally, the man told me that Jeep is almost like her dream car. And when he said those two words, when he told me that sentence, it was a fucking no-brainer. We were able to trade the Jeep to them for this. Not only this, but her grandfather's still alive, and it's going to bring back memories not only for the two of them. When he brought it back, he said that her husband was telling me that they would drive it in parades. They would drive it around the farm or the property that they were on, and they had a special bond. And that's why after that was sold out from the family, this Jeep became a dream vehicle for her. And that's what we were able to do. So when he told me that story, I talked to the wife, I talked to Melanie, and we were like, well, you know, that's something that's what we do. That's why we started this shit. So when he presented us with this, it was like, okay, we started running some figures, and it turns out, you know, trade this thing and even trade, and I think it'll be all right. This, like I was saying earlier, if you're going to trade a hot rod for a Jeep, if you're going to trade 300 horsepower for 50 horsepower, some people, it doesn't make sense to them, you know what I'm saying? But if you trade something that somebody doesn't want anything to do with anymore or wants to move on from, but still wants some sort of horsepower or fun, this is 110 horsepower of side-by-side chaos, basically. We're going to put a video on here. We're running 75 mile an hour down the fucking road. This thing, talk about throwing it sideways. I mean, we haven't even dove into this thing. We just backed it down. Oh, it came with a snowplow and a winch. I mean, this thing has so many extras on it, it's unbelievable. If you're familiar with these, you probably know more about them than I do. I'll probably butcher the shit by talking about it, but it is in pretty damn good shape. This is an aftermarket stuff. I believe this is aftermarket shit. The windshields are aftermarket. This thing has GPS. This thing has digital readout. This thing, I can Bluetooth it to my phone. It's got speakers in it. This thing's pretty ridiculous. Now, it does have a little bit of damage on the side, but after looking into it, it's not going to be that difficult to go about. I believe this was parked outside. You know, like, this is a little bit wonky, but it's not anything crazy to get fixed. You know, like, this is just plastic shit. If I have to, I'll buy it, and we'll put new on. But this is this thing's fucking wild. And like I said here, I'll show you I don't know much about it, other than some videos that I watched and stuff. Like I said, it came with the winch. We got 4-wheel drive LED bulbs, high beam, low beam, the whole 9 yards. But here you can see the RPM, the speedometer, front and rear backup camera. I mean, holy shit, what more could you ask for? You know what I mean? It's crazy. Now, there is a little bit of an issue down here. This one bar, they make these lower suspension bars back here. This looks like it took a hit. Now, they make ones that come up and fold over and are kind of like a high profile or a high clearance type of deal. But there's not a lot that's wrong with this thing, and that's why we decided to go with it. Plus, you know, we decided it was an even trade, and we could move forward with moving on up with this. Now, we're obviously going to play with this a little bit till the title gets in the mail. Well, when I transfer the title to us, but we're going to play with this. But this is, I mean, this just has a little bit of neglect. I mean, we're talking about dirt here. We're talking about elbow grease, and this son of a bitch is going to start shining, and you'll be able to follow that over the next few weeks of us owning this thing. Yeah, this thing is this thing's pretty rowdy, and we've had fun with it already. But like I said, this video was going to be specifically geared towards this trade that we did. And you guys following along, I didn't realize that little teaser video I did on Facebook yesterday when we left, we ended up having to go halfway into Ohio for this. And hell, I had people calling me this morning and messaging me and then saying, hey, did you trade? Did you buy something? Did you sell it? Well, surprise. It's still a fucking hot rod. This thing's out of control. And like I said, there's a lot of aftermarket stuff on here. We're going to do a little bit of touch work. We're going to clean it up, polish it up, make it nice. If there's anything that needs fixed, like that lower control arm or whatever you want to call it, that suspension, that strut, or not strut, but that stabilizer bar or whatever the fuck, tubular bar, I don't care what the fuck you call it. Whatever the Polaris UTV bullshit is called, that's what the hell we're going to fix. Like if there's some things that need fixed, we're going to correct it. We're going to make it the best that we can make it, and then we're going to move on forward. And you guys are going to come along for that ride, because I have ideas of where I want to head with it, and we're going to just keep on going until we get to the point where we can start building shit our own and moving on with them and building customer cars all at the same time. So I don't have a drink out here, but earlier you caught me with the Taco Bell coffee on the way to Ohio yesterday. So yeah, stay tuned. As always, cheers. This one's to you guys. Pinkies out and all that good jazz. And until next time, I'll talk to you guys soon. Oh, here, you guys want to fucking hear it, don't you? I'd imagine so. Before we leave. Yeah, baby! Over and out. Till next week.